Hello and welcome back to the Tuesday Checklist, the weekly show that really needs cushions to stop Dave sitting so awkwardly. This week we're still reveling in the release of the latest Death Stranding trailer, and to celebrate we're all picking a Hideo Kojima moment we'll never forget, except me, but mine would be the same as Rob's anyway. You can look forward to that one. First up is Dave.
So obviously, if you don't know, then where have you been? We've been playing Metal Gear Solid 3 on the channel, Snake Easter. So my favourite Kojima moment has to come from there right now because it's fresh in my mind. But I have been massively enjoying the relationship between Snake and Revolver Ocelot. It's just fascinating. It's a fascinating relationship. First of all, I mean, Revolver is a just mad character anyway, and the Ocelots. Revolver and the Ocelots. Or whatever it is they do. Like, what is that about? I love it. I think it's amazing. I don't know what's going on, but it's incredible. Like, are they miles away, the Ocelots, and they just hear the call, or are they just like, he's like, it'll be really good, just get behind the trees. I'll do the thing, you come out, it'll be amazing. He's going to be blown away. Like, that makes me laugh. And it's the way he has to do the little arms as well. I don't even know what an ocelot looks like. I should look it up, but I don't think it looks like that. On top of that, I'm just really I'm coming to a particular moment, but I'm enjoying their relationship very much. I enjoy very much that Snake is kind of taking him under his wing, despite they're also kind of trying to kill each other. Is fascinating. And the way that Ocelot keeps turning up, trying to be cool and fancy, and Snake's just like, oh, God's sake, get a revolver for a start. And he's like, whatever, screw you. And then turns up later with the most ridiculous fancy revolvers. And then he's like, why have you got those fancy revolvers? Just get a functional revolver. And he's like, I know, I will, I was going to anyway. These are the only ones I had lying about. Stop it. I think their relationship's amazing. But my favourite moment is when it's before the battle with Revolver Ocelot across the ravine, when it's the second time I think that you see him in the game, when he turns up with his new fancy revolvers, and it's not enough that they're really fancy revolvers. He's going to have to prove how fancy he is with those revolvers, and he is swinging those revolvers and tossing them about for like 15 seconds. And like a joke that you hear that's quite funny, and then it becomes less funny, and then it's funny, like so funny. That's what it's like. He's like going, ooh, and you're like, all right, yeah, that's good. And he's like still going, and it's like, stop doing it now. And then he's still going, and it's like, oh my God, what is he doing? It's hilarious. Like, I'm absolutely fascinated by it. I think it's really, really, really funny. And the fact that is then topped off, because that's, it's an amazing skill, I guess, being able to do all this. Well, it is, and then shoot them accurately. That's very, very good, whatever. But I like that that it actually has a real function when all I think they're hornets, descend on that battle, and he just chops them up with like two little helicopter guns. He's like, I'm like, fair play. I mean, that is actually a real skill. Now, I'm impressed. But I think it's mad, isn't it? There's so many moments to have picked from, but this, I don't know why that really, as soon as we had the discussion about doing this video, that just jumped out at me. I just love that scene. I thought it was so funny. He's just spinning those revolvers for so long, and just for what purpose? It's just absolutely mad. Like, Snake really doesn't care. It's not at all like perturbed, and it's just like, there's so much to learn. I just think it's an amazing moment. So yeah, that's my one.
Okay, so my favourite Hideo Kojima moment. I was thinking about this for quite a while. I could have picked various amazing moments from one of the Metal Gear games, but I figured I've talked about those so often in my Friday features that I don't think people want to be hearing those same old stories again. Yeah. So the moment I've gone for is when I lived this moment, it was absolutely not a favourite moment of mine, but looking back on it now, it's something that I can laugh at. So during the press tour for Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, Dave and I were lucky enough to go to Kojima Productions in Japan, which was like unprecedented. That no one got to go to Kojima Productions in Japan. So I obviously was incredibly excited. Dave was very excited. This was like, you know, Kojima had been my idol growing up. Like, I absolutely adored all of his games. I was like, I can't believe I'm actually going to go to Kojima Productions where they're making Metal Gear Solid 5. This is unbelievable. It's an incredibly exciting time. And for some reason, I don't even know why, we hadn't eaten anything particularly strange. Like, the first night we were in Tokyo, Dave and I went to a steakhouse. But as soon as I sat down on that coach and the coach doors shut, instantly I felt
everything changed.
Not okay. Like, my stomach just went in the kind of way that it's not just, I've got a little bit of a stomach ache. It was one of those bad things are about to happen, stomach aches. I was like, oh God, please, no, not now, not now. And I remember saying to Dave, I think something bad's about to happen. It was like, it literally got to the point that a whole load of UK games press were behind me. I was like, I don't think I can survive this anymore. Like, it's got to the point where I was like, oh my God. And as soon as I got off that bus, I just literally grabbed the PR, the Konami PR representative. Was like, I need to find a bathroom now. And he was just like, he looked quite scared. He's like, okay, well, we're just kind of shuffling these people. Please now, I have to go now. And he was like, okay, well, and he like signaled to the other PR guy, can you look after the other guys coming up? I'm just gonna take, I was like, yeah, so I just kind of walked and then started breaking into a trot and then a run. No. And like, I must have played this image over and over in my head of what it would be like walking into Kojima Productions building for the first time. I did not anticipate it would be me literally sprinting across the foyer. And then, yeah, it turned out I had food poisoning. What from? God only knows, but it was a terrible, terrible time. And I felt fine for the rest of that day, but after that we journeyed to, it was a place in, I think it was called Nasu, wasn't it? And we were playing Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes there, and we were there for about 2 or 3 days, and I was so incredibly ill. Like, just felt the absolute worst. So we were there all sat down playing Ground Zeroes while Kojima and a bunch of other Konami staff were walking around, sort of, you know, I wonder what they think of the game. So I was there just sort of sat like,
Rob, you remember we said favourite moment, right?
And if Kojima would walk past, or one of the other Konami staff would walk past, and I'd be like, oh, yes, loving this game. I think there was even a photo that Hideo Kojima tweeted where you can see me in the background, sort of like slumped in the chair playing the game. And I even did an interview with Hideo Kojima while suffering really bad food poisoning effects. And that is even on the channel now. You can see that video on the channel to this day. And that 20 minutes that the interview took was like, you know, I was just locked away in the bathroom. It's interview time, run out, do the interview, cut. And I was like, you know, what would I say to Hideo Kojima if I ever met him? You know, I'd go through all of the incredible memories I had playing Metal Gear Solid 1 with my dad, how it brought us close together, how it really kind of, you know, made my relationship with my father blossom. But instead what happened was the cameras rolled, I just instantly got up, shook his hand, ran back to the bathroom, and that was it. So yeah, I can look back and laugh now on the hilarious time I had food poisoning at Kojima Productions, but at the time it was a terrible, terrible time for me.
All right, my real favourite moment is pretty much anything Hideo Kojima does on Twitter. That's what I wanted to talk about, was just his Twitter account. Because, yeah, if you haven't seen like the Mads Mikkelsen like bromance when they go on little dates and buy each other surprise cakes, that's my true favourite. That's all I wanted to talk about. But I'm not allowed. So I'm going to pick a real moment from a game, which is totally boring and not as good as a surprise Mads Mikkelsen cake. So mine is Psycho Mantis from Metal Gear Solid.
Yes.
So he's like this creepy, he's like really supernatural, which is already quite bizarre, like considering what you think of Metal Gear Solid and like what you anticipated the game to be. And then he's like, oh, I'm gonna read your mind. And I'm like, okay. But then, yeah, exactly. I was like, yeah, I'm not 4. Like, I don't think so. And then he does all this really weird, unbelievable stuff that breaks the fourth wall of the game. And I think for me, the first time anything like that had really happened in a game. I hadn't come across this before, so he's like, oh, put your controller down and I'm going to move it. And it like rumbles it across, and he can like, I think he can switch your channels on your TV and you have to swap your controller port to stop him reading it, and you read your memory card and it's like, you love these games. And it's like, and I was like, oh no. And I was like, well, I'm sure this is just game trickery. Like, I'm sure this isn't actually my mind being read. So I was genuinely not terrified, but like a little bit creeped out, and it absolutely blew my mind at the time. I was like, it was one of those moments where I was like, oh my God, games can like come out and be in my world. And I think there's a bit in that one as well where you have to read the back of the case. I don't know if anyone remembers that.
Yeah,
there's like
Merrill.
Merrill, don't you? And it's like, and I was just like, this is everything I want. Like, please invade my world. And so I think that has stuck with me so much so that I kind of always think it's happening even when it isn't. So I've genuinely had like a controller run out of battery and me not realise because I've got all my notifications off and I'm like, what's happening? What are you doing? Oh, it's just my controller.
FIFA? What's this crazy 4 stuff?
And so it's like, it's something that's so profoundly affected me. And then even when PT came out, obviously so excited, I'm a big Silent Hill fan, so I was like, yes, let me get this. And then obviously now you can't get it anymore. And even that, I was like, is this some kind of, like, is this some kind of trick? Yeah, I genuinely was like, maybe this is just part of the game and it's gonna like disappear off my PlayStation and then come back and turn itself on in the middle of the night and like,
God, I hope not.
yeah. I'm still slightly suspicious that it might.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that moment was just for me because it was so different, and I think it's so exactly who he is and what he does. It's like these weird moments that you wouldn't think of as a game or kind of any. It just removes the normalcy of the game. So it's something that wasn't, even though it itself as a game was already innovative and groundbreaking, it was still very much a game. It was still recognizable. All its elements made sense as something you would play. And then, like the second I just had to put my controller down, it changed games for me completely. And I was like, oh my God, there's this whole other way to interact with them. And it's through this creepy psycho Mantis dude. But yeah, so that's probably my absolute favorite moment.
How long did it take you to work out how to beat him?
Forever. So the first time I was just really weirded out, and I think I went and got, maybe not my brother. Oh no, I played this at a sleepover. So I think I was trying to introduce, and it was like, it was a group of friends that just did not want to play video games. Yeah. And I remember, I think we were watching like Fame or something fun like that, and everyone was singing, and I was like, yeah, no, we're done. So the game, let's do it.
How about this game though?
Gonna plug this in, and we're all good. And so I played it, I played it with some friends, and they weren't as freaked out because all games were alien to them, so they were just like, okay. And I was like, oh, you don't understand. And then I couldn't figure it out, and I ended up not figuring it out till I took it back home and could like play it by myself. But yeah, I did not know what was going on. I was just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. He's genuinely just reading my mind and won't let me get, and then I was like, oh, okay, you have to. So it took me so long to just to swap it over. I didn't realize, but yeah, it was probably not most conducive in a room of like screaming friends who were like, we hate this, we just want to have a birthday party, why are you doing this?
This is always an incredibly tough question because I was thinking about my most treasured moments with every Kojima production he's done. I've cried on every single Metal Gear Solid game.
Cried on it.
I was just so happy or sad I cried on it. But there's one thing in one Kojima game which just blows my mind that it exists, and I absolutely love it. I don't know the backstory behind it. I tried to look into it before this Tuesday checklist, but I think I'm gonna have to do a lot of deep digging on the internet to find it. And it's in Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, but it's not what you're gonna think it is. It's the crossover between Metal Gear Solid 3 and Ape Escape 3.
I knew
the most rosy moment of all time.
The fact that this exists is amazing. Like, I can imagine just Kojima, I'm presuming Kojima's gonna be like involved in this somehow, but someone must have said, hey Kojima, we want to cross over Metal Gear Solid 3 and Ape Escape 3, are you in for it? And I could just imagine him just, putting his thumbs up and being like, yeah, that's all good by my books. But just the crossover, the fact that it exists is fantastic. If I didn't go for this option, I was going to say the end from Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, so I was like, I can either go with the most intense boss battle I've probably had in my life, or I could go with this really awesome collab that still blows my mind that it exists. I just went with this one because I remember when I first played Ape Escape 3 and I saw that there was this secret mini game you can unlock if you save up enough money or something. I can't remember fully how you unlock it, but you play it and it's basically Metal Gear Solid, but with the monkeys from Ape Escape. But the monkey's dressed up as Snake, and he's got like rather than just a normal monkey, he's like, and he's got like this really gruffled voice, and it's fantastic. Like instead of a tranquilizer gun, you got a banana gun, and then it's amazing. And then even on Metal Gear Solid 3, in Subsistence, you've got this is when you've then got Ape Escape elements in Metal Gear Solid 3. So you're in like the jungle and your task is to tranquilize, I think, or you have to run into all the apes in the area, but they're all hidden. The fact that I'm not sure who I can't think of the name, the main person at Ape Escape, and then the fact that Kojima probably maybe they had a drink or something like that, and they just thought, you know what would be great? Like, I like your work, you like my work, let's just bring these two worlds together. The fact that this exists is just one of my favorite things ever. It's got beautiful Kojima cheese in it, and I just thought for this video, I was like, rather than do like a moment from a really serious moment, I was like, no, let's talk about something that was absolutely crazy, and it's brilliant, and I just love the fact that Kojima went ahead with this and was like, yeah, let's do this.
I like the idea that you were at any point going to do a serious moment and not a crazy moment, Rosie.
Well, I was thinking about it. I was just like, God, do I do? Because I was like, I've shed tears, I've laughed, there are so many cheesy moments in 3 that I love, like the way the fear, he just like starts jumping in the air and then he just goes, fear, and just jumps up and it echoes across the jungle. I love that scene.
That's meant to be cheesy, right?
Oh no, but it's just, I was just like, there's so much cheese in Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid 3 is my favourite game of all time, so I was just like, I can't pick a specific favourite moment from it. And then with MGS1, I was like, Psycho Mantis, which is why I was quite happy you picked that, because I was like, right, okay, now I can't say that, that's that one knocked off the list, but that's why I just thought, I'll go with something crazy that's happened in Metal Gear Solid for me, and I was just like, let's just go with that, let's just do it.
I like that you became a kind of a comedy Metal Gear Solid character when you met.
Yeah, he really did. It's literally something
The
that
thing
happened.
is, if I could have explained to Kojima, I can't speak Japanese at all, what was happening, he'd have probably found it really funny.
Yeah,
He's
for
like,
sure.
"Oh, you're like Johnny from Metal Gear." Just a little, okay, I've got to go now. Exclamation mark above my head.
We really are a classy outfit these days. Thanks, Rob, and thank you all for watching. Let us know your unforgettable Kojima moments in the comments, especially if you've ever interacted with the man himself. Give us a like if you enjoyed the video and hit the notification bell to make sure you never miss a Tuesday checklist.
For the players.